CJ Wiley with More Adventures on the Road. Today I'm going to talk about the pop shot like I represented in my last video. There's two different themes of strokes. There's the pop stroke, when your hand comes back and just returns exactly where it starts from. The momentum of that will carry it into a follow-through, but you don't try to go into a follow-through unless you're doing the extension stroke. And the extension stroke is more extend. And the more you extend, the more the after contact reaction of the ball will be amplified, including the deflection. So you have to be really careful, especially if you have a level cue and you go to the inside or outside and you extend, because it'll amplify the flight of the ball. It won't go as straight. So the reason that I prefer the pop shot is because it's more accurate. And a pop shot is basically just like a stop shot. So what I'm going to show you is that stop shot is the baseline, or we call it a referential index of all of your shots. Because if you can't make a stop shot, make the ball and make it stop, then how are you going to have a baseline to make it go forward a foot or back a foot or 2 feet? So you have to have that reference. And everything that I teach has a reference. The left side is a reference for the left side of the body, the distance to the ball, everything has a reference. And once you learn this, then I think it has to be brought to conscious attention. And then after you really get the hang of it and make it natural, then you won't have to think about it as much. But I still think about extending the flight of the ball or the distance that it goes with the follow through. So as far as the accuracy of the shot, see, there is friction on this cloth. So if I have a level cue and I extend through it, it basically stays a little bit on the cue ball a little bit longer, but it does not get the ball off of the table into the air. See, there's friction with the cloth, but there's no friction in the air. It goes perfectly straight. So I'm going to show you using this penny that if I put a shot up and pop it, and it gets the name pop, just like you're popping a towel, popping a whip, you know, in the locker room we used to pop the towels, and the tip of the towel or the whip is, you know, creates an incredible amount of speed, and you want access to that kind of speed with the tip of this cue as well. So I'm going to put the penny in front of the shot, and now watch what happens when I pop it. See how it gets over that penny? Now if I hit that shot and you didn't see the penny there, you wouldn't think it got off the table, because it's very difficult to see. Now, you might think that I'm just hitting down on it to make it go over that penny, but I'm going to shoot this one with high English. I'm going to hit a high English pop shot and make the ball go 3 rails around towards that penny. So watch, this is high. You see how that ball jumped that penny and extends? That's kind of a cross between the pop and the extension, but without the pop, it will not get over that penny. It's the same thing with spinning balls. See, if you want to be able to spin balls and not have to make as much of an allowance, I mean, there's some allowance I'll make, but usually if I'm hitting the ball really hard or really soft. But watch, this penny's in the way again. I'm going to go over with right English. Look at how straight that ball goes. All I'm doing is going over the inside and I'm aiming at the same spot on the object ball as I'm cueing the cue ball. And I'll show you there's other shots that you aim that way. And if you don't know this, when you shoot these type of shots, you're going to overcut them. So you have to aim sometimes at the object ball the same place as you're aiming on the cue ball with inside English shots, especially. And a level cue will make the ball exaggerate even more. You'll see most of the champion players with a down angle on their cue. Like if you watch any of the Filipino players, especially Bustamante, he cues the ball clear behind the cue ball and then comes up on it. So what they're doing is, instead of having a level cue going through using the center of your tip, There's a slight angle going down for your stun shots and draw shots and some force shots, but you're using the top edge of your tip. It's the difference between hitting something flat with your fist and using your knuckles. Same thing when you're following the ball. Instead of raising your bridge and trying to hit it up here, you keep the bridge the same height, which my bridge height is basically, if I have a level cue, it'll go to the center of the ball. But I usually have a down angle or up angle unless I'm slow rolling the ball. That's a little different. You can have a level cue and extend, but you got to be really careful if you hit it off center. So a high English shot, you're just using the top edge of your tip. That's how you get so much high English. I can shoot a shot. Here, I'll just show you an example of a follow shot. I'm going to shoot this one and make it go around the table. And I just want you to see the angle. You see, this would be what I'd aim if I was using a low English shot. Now I'm using the bottom edge of my tip. Whoops. These are 4-inch pockets, so it spits the ball out pretty easy. Let me shoot this one again, but I just want you to see how easily, effortlessly, I can get this ball around the table using the edge of my tip. Now, to practice this, you have to have a reference as a stop shot. So if you're just a beginning player, just set the balls up like this, a couple feet apart, and just practice going down and making the ball stop right in its tracks. It just takes the place of the ball. So once you can do that, then you use that as a reference. So I'll go down like I'm hitting a stop shot, and then I'm using my right hand. I pull it up, which makes the tip go down. Then when I hit the same shot, the ball draws back. So the reference is a stop shot. Same thing if I have a little bit of an angle and I want to extend this down to the end rail. This would be my stop shot, and then I push my hand down to make the tip go up to be able to extend and make it go forward. So the tip is controlled with the right hand. You know, you can make your bridge go up and down, especially, you know, if you're shooting over a ball. Obviously, you have to elevate a lot more. But for your regular shots, I would recommend controlling the tip with your right hand, not your left hand. Leave that bridge hand the same. Leave it consistent. Because if you raise and lower that bridge hand, it also affects what the ball does after contact. So if you want to be consistent, do the same thing every time. So now, if you want to come over here, once you get the stop shot and the draw shot down there, then do the same thing. You get your stop shot first. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my tip and just feel what it's like to go through and make that cue ball go back. I think you should do it where it feels natural, just to see what happens. And then the more you experience this, the more precise you're going to be able to control the cue ball. But if you don't have a reference, it's very hard, especially as the shots get longer, because the farther the ball is away, the lower you have to cue the cue ball to make it stop. So then you have to use that as a reference to go lower to make it draw back. Makes sense. Same thing with the follow shots. The farther you are away, the lower you have to cue it for the stop shot, but then the more you raise it, the more it's going to make it follow. So here's the follow shot. You go down to a stop shot, raise the tip, and then make it go straight through. Now the reference for pop shots, there's the reference for the stop shots, and then as far as cut shots go, with a touch of inside, if you cue the ball just a little bit to the inside, you can make any of your cut shots go straight back and forth. So if you have a little bit of a cut shot, I showed this in another video, I won't get into this too much, but if you stand centered edge on this shot, go down a little bit to the inside, and pop it, see how it makes the cue ball go straight back and forth. that's a very good reference as well for position playing. So you have the stop shot as a reference, then on cut shots, the reference is going straight back and forth. It's the same thing if the ball's up here. See, I just cue it slightly to the inside, aim right at that edge. And when I shoot that shot, you see how perfectly it goes straight back and forth? That comes up a lot. Once you've mastered the stop shot and being able to make any of your cut shots, so when you're practicing any cut shot like this, you can make it and make it go straight back and forth. Then once you can do that, you have the reference to be able to change that. Because if I needed it to go this way on that particular shot, all I have to do is cue it a little bit lower. Or I could apply outside English. What I try to do is stay on the same side of the cue ball because I want to be consistent. And instead of using spin, I use the vertical axis of the cue ball. So the more that I want it to come back, the lower I hit the ball. So if I have this shot right here, and instead of going straight back and forth, I want it to go to this diamond, I'll just do the same thing, but I'll cue it lower. So it makes the cue ball go back this way. So anyway, if you practice this and get those stop shots down, and then get a feel for that right hand, it's like a lever. If the right hand goes down, the tip goes up. If the right hand comes up, the tip goes down. Another thing about bringing this tip down that you'll see champion players do is when they get down, they'll pull this up slightly. It's called chambering in martial arts. It's like chambering a shotgun shell. You bring that up a little bit, it gives you a lot of power because it coils the shoulder and it enables you to bring it back and have more of a powerful release at impact, because you don't really want your shoulder to be relaxed. You want it to have a little bit of torque, a little bit of coil, and then you'll have a much more powerful stroke. So to play this game at a high level, you have to be able to get the cue ball around. You have to know your references, especially the stop shot and the cut shots that go straight back and forth. Once you get this down, it's going to open up a whole new world for you, because you're going to be able to watch these champion level players and see what they're doing and how often they make cut shots to make them go straight back and forth. It's a lot more than you might think. But once you can see it, you can't unsee it. If you want to learn more about my techniques, fundamentals, and systems, join me at masteringpocketbilliards.com. Till next time, just remember, the game is the teacher.